not have water, and we cannot afford to pay for a water tanks to come and give us water. So we resort to using stagnant water, which is a health hazard. Therefore, we just want to make that call that it is time that government took the land from wherever it is and give it back to the people without paying any compensation.
Igama lami nginguThomas Sifunza, ngibuya eWard 24, ngilmember le-African National Congress. Ngithanda kubingelela i-portfolio from a parliament portfolio committee. Cishe sebakhulumile lokunengi. Lesikwatiko umlando uyasitshela sebakhulumile ngemlando labanene ukuthi the apartheid government used colonial powers to take the land from black people, and the ANC-led government is going to take the land back to black people through democracy. So ke kude umuntu longadi ukuthi 87% yemhlaba belong to majority of the total population of the country, and which lead to inequality, poverty, and unemployment, because uma unganawo umhlaba, it means awunalutho. So it means 87% of people of South Africa, they are landless. So this government, ANC-led government, kufuna ilungise le mess leyendiwa i-apartheid government, because they took our land through barrels. The history cannot repeat itself. And in fact, black people, bantu labane buntu, because up to now, sine power in terms of kuvota, but asinayo ipower ku-economy. And nathi sesifuna le economy lehleli ebantwini labayi-few. So njenge-ANC, njengemphakathi, sithi thine siyayisupporta le bill, because that is the only way. Nyalo na unga invade umhlaba uthi ufuna kwenda ibusiness batokubopha emaphoyisa. And I want to say to those who are claiming to have bought the land you bought, the land never sold. Because uma nangabe singathi sine proof ukuthi lo mhlaba wawuthenga kuphi nini, ngaphandle kokuthi maybe uthenge umhlaba etukwe umuntu lo untshontshile, it means you bought stolen property.
Time up.
Ngiyabonga.
Slalo, I'm just taking over because I feel she's now dead tired. But I must give a disclaimer, I'm not Siswati speaker, but I will do my very best, I promise. My name is Thomas Sifunza, Ward 24, and I'm an ANC member. May I take this time and greet the portfolio committee? Much has been said, and history tells us about how land was taken from the black people. It was taken by the apartheid government, and the ANC government will take it back through democracy. It is said, Chairperson, that 87% of people who own land, 87% of people who are the majority in the country do not have enough land to live on. And therefore, that leads to poverty. Now, the ANC government must correct the mess that was started by the apartheid government, whereby a minority of people own 87% of the land. We have voting power, yes, but we don't have economy. We want the economy to be brought back to the black people, and we support this bill. If I invade land today, I will be arrested. And how can you claim to have land when you actually didn't buy it in the first place? So, in short, we support the bill, but let land go back to the people. Thank you, sir.
All protocol observed. Kwami kuncane kakhulu. Lona lokhulumako ngilizi wakasithole uhlala eWard 40 ePinari. Lo ngaphansi kwembutho wakakhongolose ANC abe ngu-secretary we-Women's League, aphinze abe ngu-secretary wa-ward councillor. Ngithanda kusho ukuthi ngiyayisupporta inkulumo lethi umhlaba awubuye kubantu labamnyama. Ngicela kuto phathisa umlayitelo lothi sinebantwana la lebaye kofunza ecollege eMthimba. Ngulomunye wami umntwana ami layile kofunza eMthimba bafunzela iagriculture. Ubuyile umntwana esikolweni sekufuneka a-implement kude indzawo. Uye wathatha indzawo la ekhaya ngamnika iportion yana ngathi nayi isebenzise ngibone ukuthi lokho bokuyele kuyofunza utakhona yini kukwenda. Nembala umntwana wendile uhlanyelile tivuno dabadihle. Nyalo umntwana uphinze wayofuna ama colleagues akhe lafunze nawo eMthimba. Bahlangana bafuna kwenda icooperative lenkulu. Mhlaba kude indzawo batawulima kuphi. Nginemntwana lobuya eNorthwest eUniversity. Umsebenzi kude. Sigcina thumbu ke leso. Sende icooperative sifuna kwenda ipoultry. Umhlabathi awukho utowendela kuphi. Siyacela ukuthi government wethu njengaloku lakithi la sinale college awubuye umhlaba babakhombe labantwana indzawo la kufanele balime khona ngoba besinefear sinesikhule ngokulima. Ngiyalima nami ngilomunye lolima ke ekhaya ngiyahlanyela bobhatata mbila yonke lento. Kepha bese kunenkulumo lethi bantwana bethu angeke bakhone kulima ngoba abantwana bafuna kufunza bafuna kungena ema-ofisini. Akusinjalo. Bantwana ngalo bathi khandla bayakhona kusebenzisa umhlabathi bayalima siyadibona tivuno. Sicela kuphathisa ukuthi umhlaba awubuye bantwana bakhonjwe indzawo bantwana balime nanathi sibadzala sikhone kulima tivanze nathi siyafuna kuhlanganisa ama cooperative abomake siyolima phi indzawo kude. Ngiyabonga.
Thank you, Slalo. My name is Lizis Chole from Ward 40 in Pinar. I'm an ANC member, a secretary of the Women's League and secretary to the Ward Councillor. I support that land must be given back to people. We have an example of kids here who went to Mthimba Agricultural College and they completed their studies but they were not given land space to cultivate. I personally gave my child a bit of land in my yard to make sure that they practice what they studied. I also have a last-born child who also studied in Northwest, Yes, they have qualifications, but there is no land. They try to form cooperatives. And the last time they planted and cultivated some crops, they got a good harvest. But because we don't have land, that becomes a problem. Can the government please give us land so that we can cultivate? Even us older people, we would like to form or establish cooperatives of women, whereby we can also plant some things. I have planted sweet potatoes, for an example, because I love farming. And education is not about office work, Stralo. Education is also about kids who have studied agriculture and they want to use the land. So please give us the land back. Thank you.
Sanibonani. Ligama lami Agnes ngwakaMadubandlela. Ngibuya kaMsogwaba ku-Ward 40. Mina kwami kutoba kuncane kakhulu. Kokuqala ngicela ukubonga kusibeketelela. Ngiyathi ukuthi sekugcinekile nelanga selishonile. Kodwa kufanele ukuthi sindlulise lokhu lesifuna kukusho ukuthi umhlaba awusale ubuya ebantwini. Umhlaba siyawudzinga. Siyafuna kwendela abantu abethu indzawo la batodlala khona, bakhona ukuthi jabulisa khona. Ngikhuluma nje la ngihlala khona kaMsogwaba. Sakhe etinzabeni, awukhoni kulima, kuncane nalokwetindlu, nalabo shifu nje abasati ukuthi batawuthini ngathi. Nawuthi ufuna indzawo bavele bakukhombe nje endzabeni, ngoba vele uhluphekile indzawo onayo udawakha lapha endzabeni. Nyalo la kaMsogwaba sishonelwe umntwana ngani kude tindzawo la batodlala khona boma swimming pool bende yonke lento le. La ngasetulo emoyeni ungene kulokunye kwelidamu wadliwa silwane lesingatiwa ukuthi kumbe sihlala khona lapho samdla nje samcetha babangani bang3 ngoba kude labatodlala khona kuma swimming pool bayahamba bongena lapha bathi baya swima bayageza silwane sambamba lo lathi uvikela lo sadla yena lo mnye asathi ukuthi silwane bani but idamu lidzilitiwe manje ukuthi sitohamba siye kuphi lesilwane asathi ngani kude tindzawo labantwana bethu batojabulisa khona ngiyabonga.
Mama uzongixolela angisithola ngisibongo sakhe, but I got the name Mama Agnes from Msogwaba at Ward 40. Thank you so much for your patience. We know that it is late, but we still have to express our feelings. We need land even for recreation for our children to have a place to play at. We don't even have land to dwell on. These days when we go to our chiefs and ask for land space, they show us to the mountainous terrains because they don't know what to do anymore. Recently, we just lost a child in Moyeni who was eaten by a mysterious monster. Nobody knows what killed that child, but they were swimming in that very dangerous place, a dam, and then one child tried to help the other and was then killed by this. So this shows that people in the area really, really need land. Most of that dam which the child died in was also destroyed. So please bring back the land. Thank you.
Chairperson we-Parliament laka-Congolose wase-South Africa. Sanicela last, nabuya futhi, nibuyile. Anisiphathelanga lokho esasimcele kona. Nibuya ngale amendment bill yokuthi kufuneka kubhadaleke ku-appropriate umhlaba. Azange sanithuma lokho. Sabayilabo esinithuma ukuthi nibeyilabo ani hamba no amenda i-constitution ezovumela i-expropriation of land ngaphandle kokukhokhelwa. Manje concerned ngoba i-appropriation bill leyo enilethele yona ukuthi siyivume ileyo esibangela ukuthi sibe yilabo phikisana ne-expropriation of land nge-compensation. Since nilaba nibuyile futhi kumele nibe nabenaziyo ukuthi position esime kuyo yile yokuthi asifuni ukukhokhela umhlaba wethu ngoba kuyiyona indlela engathi sifuna sizwisisane ngayo nokulungisa inkinga ze-apartheid eyendlule. I-expropriation bill akusile ibalekile. Thina sibona indlela yokuthi ileyo ecindezela ne hijacka indlela abantu abalwa ngayo belwela umhlaba wabo lo namuhla nina nifuna ukuba sibe la kwesubhadalayo. I-expropriation bill ayisebenzeli ngalutho. Sicela nibuyele nibatshele ukuthi asidingi expropriation bill.
Slano, the member of the community who just spoke has strongly expressed that they asked you last time you were here to go and amend the expropriation bill without compensation. And he sees a contradiction between what the committee is here for and the Section 25 bill, which the community asked you to go and deal with. Because this one bill, the one we are here for today, is not very important. What is important is for Parliament and government to fix the apartheid issues. So this bill is not so important. Actually, it looks like hijacking people who are fighting for the real thing. So we ask you again that you go back and tell them that we need you to fix the issue of the expropriation of land without compensation. Thank you.
Ngibonge lelithuba leniniketa lona namuhla. Ligama lami ngiMsuzeni Ngakalukhuleni, ngibuya ePinari eWard 40. Nami ngisho njalo ngithi lo mhlaba awubuyele kithi abantu labamnyama. Ene government akube nguye lokhona kusabela lo mhlaba. Kuze kutokhonakala ukuthi sithundi sethu sibantu labamnyama sitokhona kubonakala ngoba nginje abantu babamna baya esikolweni fanele ngikhiphe imali etransport ele ngumuntu longasebenzi tikolo tisekudzeni asakhelwe tikolo sakhelwe tibhedlela even kulima ngiyalima ngilimela pelepele lekhalam le uma ngithi ngiyahamba nalo pelepele wami ngiyathengisa bangitshela ukuthi likilo 14 rand. Ede kuleli kilo la 14 rand it's 5 liter ibucket lonke lipelepele longaka. Manje bengicela ukuthi uma ngabe ukuthi ngabe ukhona lo mhlabathi loyo bengidawukhona nami kulima mhlezi ma hectare angathi mangaki. Ngizamile kufuya tingulube ngadina sengitibulala tingulube lekhala mbathi bomakhelwane tiyabanukela njani njani ngenxa yani yokuthi anginandzawo yokulima. Ngiyabonga.
I beg your pardon for the delay. My name is Susan Lukuleni. I reside at Ward 40. I would also like to voice my support for bringing back the land to the people. I believe that this is going to restore the dignity of black people. This is going to be good for economic activity. We're able to build schools on that land. As I speak now, I pay a lot of money to get my school because the schools, they go too afar from where I reside. So I have to pay for transport. We could build clinics around the areas in which we live if only we had the land. I am a small farmer myself. I a crop farmer. I grow pepper, and when I take it to the market, I am usually told that my produce, or rather, but because I didn't have anywhere to kill all my pigs, so it is very important that the message is carried through that we want the land back in order to survive, in order to live.
Le mavej ngahamba ngafika kule linye ipulazi ngathola umlungu. Lo mlungu ngathi mina ngifuna makhabishi ngiyastoka nginemarket ngothengisa. Lo mlungu wangipita imali lesetulu. Uma ngikhala ngithi ngicela ungehlisele ngoba le price yakho isetulu, nami kusafuna ngicashe transport kuthi ingithwale la iyongibeka edrobheni la ngithengisa khona. Umlungu akhe angeke aze angithengisele angehlisele. Uma umfuna amakhabishi la ashibhile angihambi ngiyotshela Thabo Mbeki. So lokho kusho kona kokuthi kusane apartheid kakhulu. Sicela uhulumende ukuthi akangenelele asilungisele ukuze nathi sitokhona kuthola indzawo la sitotilimela khona sihlanyelele khona nathi sitokhona kuphila impilo iqhubeke sikhulise abantwana. Kusho ukuthi ngiloko ngithi mina uhulumende akangenelele awuthathe umhlaba kutophela nale apartheid. Ngikhumbula Mandela makaphuma angena embusweni ushito ukuthi apartheid seyiphelile, manje still solo kuyaqhubeka. Ngithi uhulumende akangenelele awuthathe umhlabathi kutoba nebulungiswa. Ngiphelela la.
I want to greet you and observe all protocol. Mama is from Msukaligwa, Ward 40. Ungixolele mama, ngokungabizi igama lakho. I humbly support that.
2 public hearings on the land question. And we told members of parliament to go and amend the constitution to allow for expropriation of land without compensation into the custody of the state. But since you are here, Chairperson, you must know that our position remains the same. We want all the South African land to be expropriated without compensation. This is the only way we will address colonial land disposition and the legacy of apartheid. We did not give Parliament a mandate to find ways to pay for land that was stolen. Our land is not a commodity and should not be for sale. The Expropriation Bill is an unnecessary distraction, and we see it as a way to hijack the real struggle of black people and will not solve the challenges that black people are currently facing. The money that is available to pay for land must be given to black small-scale farmers. Black people in South Africa need their land to farm, build houses, and build businesses, and the Expropriation Bill is not going to help us in doing any of this thing. My last submission is this to you, Chairperson. No legislation is above the law.
sanibonani. Sizane Mashaba lona lomile. Ngokuhlala ngihlala e29. Ngisukuma nje ngidzabuka kakhulu mayelana nemhlaba. Mina ngokudala ngidalele eMlegedi. La bengihlala khona nabomkhulu nabogogo. Kodwa ngoba umhlaba uwala bamhlophe asizange siphuma kahle kuloyo mhlaba. Sasifuyile nathi sinetinkomo, sinetimbuti, sinako konke silima. Wakhona ukuthi thina asishisele siphume sihambe kulelo plaza. Kunemathambo akithi lapha, kunabobabe, kunabomkhulu. Kunginyalo asisakhoni nokuthi siyophahla ngoba thina sizinto phela sikhulele kule nkolo yesintu. Umlungu uthi kithi uma sikhona asigubhe lawa amathambo sambe nawo siyowabeka kulenye indzawo ngoba lapha sekuyindzawo yakhe. Sindlule emnyama sihlupheka kakhulu. Bukani nje bantwana bethu bethe emsebenzi netikolo kude labanye nabaya bagcwele ngivela omunye atsinza indzaba yalapha edrobheni emaflatini. Mawungahlala phasi ubuke lapha emaflatini bantwana bethu lalabahlala lapha eflatini namuhla bathengisa mtimba ngoba kude emsebenzi balambile. Ngiyabonga.
My name is Sizane Mashabane. I feel very sad to be talking about this issue of land because it gives me, it makes me very sad. I was born at Ehlanzeni and which was owned by white people, and we live with I grew up, my parents were farming, we were growing crops, and I grew up around that environment. However, we were forcibly removed from that area because it belonged to a white person. In fact, it was tragic what happened because the white person actually bent the cattle, we kept goats, and we had crops or field crops, and we lost everything. And then when we want to go and visit our graves, because they are still situated there, this white person refuses to let us go there. He has told us that we must dig up those graves and take them and take the remains, but we cannot visit them on his farm.
I'm from Ward 17, and I'm a member of the EFF. Chairperson, as the last speaker here today, I want to say to you, the message is clear. We want the expropriation of land without compensation. And it is sound. And we want you to go back to Parliament and tell Parliament that we don't want to see you here to come and ask us the same question, because you will get the same answer. But we want you to come back here and tell us that the struggle that began when our oppressors arrived here has been resolved, so that we may sing our African songs and chant in victory. I thank you.
Many have gone, we almost left alone. So, okay, we really appreciate your inputs. We are taking them as they are. As you can see, there is a lot of recording, we are writing notes, and you are